Sports Talk Live for the culture. How you doing, fellas?
Hey, hey, doing good.
How's it going, Duke?
Oh man, it's very. I'm doing very well, man. We got football season
It's
has
about. It just
begun.
started, man. It's been weird though. It's. We're gonna jump into football a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's been weird for me. I've been so caught up in work and no preseason games, everything. I feel a little distant. It's like she's
Hey,
been around, but she ain't really been around.
yeah. We love her so much that
That
everything's gonna be okay. You know
everything's
what I
gonna be
mean?
all right. You know.
Everything's gonna
Have you seen her? Remember that song?
be okay.
Have you seen her? You
Yes.
know, that's how it's been going these last couple of days, and a couple of weeks though. Month of August, moving into September, and we're still dealing with the COVID times and all the precautions and things that are put in place for protection and the safety. So we're going to have some games, and but it's going to be interesting to see because how do you get a feel what's going on? But that's going to be talked a little bit later in the show. We're going to dive into the NFL and what's going on with that. But right now, what's hot? I want to talk about the bubble bunch. You know, down these playoffs with the National Basketball Association. Playoffs are heating up. And one of the stories that was very interesting, and it has a connection tied to my Sixers, is the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have advanced to the conference finals. Jimmy Butler, and this is a situation unlike any time that we've seen in the NBA or in sports, or whatever, playing without fans at a neutral site in a bubble. But that being said, the Miami Heat, led by Jimmy Butler, have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, there was a lot of talk when he made that move in the summertime. Especially Sixers fans like, oh, he don't want to win. He don't want to go anywhere. Why is he leaving? He going to go down there to lose, whatever. Well, it turns out in this adverse situation that Jimmy and the Heat have been playing some basketball. Are you shocked by this turn of events? How do you guys see this?
Yeah, I definitely. I'm not like. I don't think that they should have won. I'm not like super shocked. I'm shocked that they're where they're at. But me personally, I guess we'll get into Greek and everything else later.
Yeah,
Me personally, I didn't have faith in that team that much either way. I didn't have faith in the Greek, but it is shocking because who does he have? I mean, Dragic is their best offensive player.
hmm
I mean, like who does he have really? It's like him to be
they were a
right there
playoff
in that.
team last year. Yeah, but they're not a star stellar team. It's not a team that you would
Right,
say that's loaded in any fashion.
hmm right. So with that being said, I am shocked that they beat Chris Middleton and the Greek. That was shocking for me.
What do you
Well,
think,
for
Duke?
me, it's not shocking, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let's start with the head of the snake,
hmm
um, and that is Mr. Pat Riley up top,
hmm
right?
Hmm
We have, if you look at his resume,
hmm
I think that it's safe to say that he knows what he's doing. That's one. Um, Mr. Eric Spoelstra, right? I believe that he is a great coach, right? He's not one of your marquee names, so to speak, because people will throw out these names and
Yeah, I want to
these
get the sponsor. Yeah,
coaches.
I'm going to bring up. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll throw these names out of certain guys, but I'll tell you what. To me, he's a hell of a coach, man. A hell
yeah,
of a coach because the number one thing is you have to get guys to buy in, right?
yeah.
And once you get them to buy in, you have to recruit certain players,
That will
right?
buy into your system, that
Buy
philosophy.
into your system. And if we look at the last 5 years, 5 or 6 years with him, um, he's done a remarkable job in doing that, right? So we
hmm
start, like we said, at the head of the snake with Riley and then him. We trickle down to the players, and I'm gonna tell you why it's not surprising for me that they're in the championship. All right, I will take 5 to 7 to 8 guys that they don't have to be your marquee names, but they will give you all types of problems, right? Because they just know how to play basketball. And I think this is what you have with the Miami Heat. And we talked about Jimmy Butler, and we'll talk about the team. They play hard. He's your go-to guy. And more importantly, I don't think that they care about the man that's on the other side.
Mm.
I really don't, which is big in professional sports because we've been around long enough to see guys show up at stadiums and gyms and people kind of lay down for them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Heat is really worried about who they are playing. I really don't. And so you add some toughness, you add buying in, and this is what you get right here. So
And
once they won, it didn't surprise me at all.
and Jimmy Butler has been the focal point. There's been a lot of
Oh,
things bringing up
absolutely.
his style. He talked about his disagreements and seeing how that Chicago team went at each other in practice. Um, and he just took on those characteristics. It doesn't work in every situation, but I think he found a home, especially with Pat Riley. You know,
Yes.
Pat Riley at the head of an organization. That's the kind of organization he wants to run. You know,
Yes.
he wants that toughness. He wants it to be, very intense. Leadership, play defense, come to play every night, ball out, and that's what I think he has brought to the Heat. Now we've never seen this situation like before. There's no home court advantage, but you only can play in a situation that was given you. That's the
Pretty
only
much.
thing. That's the only thing you can do. So they've been in that situation and they have excelled, and they took out the Greek Freak and his team, and they're moving on to the conference finals. And it's just it's going to be interesting to see. And I think it has a lot of reverberation back to Philadelphia because there's been a lot of talk that Coach Brown didn't want to deal with Jimmy Butler. But that just may be his situation. He doesn't, want to have that type of cantankerous individual in the locker room, whatever. That's not. He has to be who he is. But there's a lot of talk, and from the Philadelphia fans and the 76ers fans that, hey, Jimmy Butler was a Philadelphia guy. You know, not highly recruited,
On any level.
on any level, and just worked and worked and worked his way into becoming the player that he is. So when you have a player like that, the Philadelphia fans are going to embrace you. This
Yes.
hard, tough nose. He may not be a super talented at the high free agencies. So it seemed like it was a situation where it was Brown or Butler. They kept Brown, and Butler's moved on. And that's the situation that'll come back, and it's going to keep coming up as they move on. Could
That's
be,
the thing. Like
go ahead, Jonathan.
that was the thing that was like so shocking to me. That have we ever seen this done? Have we ever seen someone that do what he's doing at the bottom, him being the best player and he's at the bottom 10, maybe out of the bottom 10
Yeah,
far as talent. He may be in top 15, because do you say Tatum's better than him? I mean, so he may be out of the top 10.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what we've, Jonathan, and you bring up those questions, and they're great questions. But I'm gonna tell you what happens, right? A lot of times, and we've been around long enough to know that guess what sells? Sexy
oh yeah,
sells, right? And how about there's nothing sexy about Jimmy Butler? How about he's just gritty? How about that?
Right,
Jimmy
Right?
right,
buckets.
Right. How about that? So I think that's where we get into this guy dropping out of like the top 15.
right.
I don't
Because
care.
because even when we look at the Sixers team with Iverson, I mean, they still had Iverson, who was top 5 at that time, MVP Iverson. I mean, they still, with LeBron with the Cavs his first year, they had these bad teams, but they still had that top 5 player on it. Like
Right.
even Kawhi, take Kawhi last year, they still had Kawhi. I just
Hey,
it's just
listen.
weird. Like normally we say it takes two. It takes two superstars to win a championship. They don't have one.
Right.
like,
Well,
like
Listen, we've all seen the model, the pretty model, who really can do anything. So
Mm-hmm.
there you have it. So that's what I mean about the sexy part selling. Jimmy Butler doesn't
Right.
give you the the dazzle. He's not a
Mm-hmm.
guy that typically you'll find on a lot of highlight tapes, but who cares?
Yeah,
I'm
Right.
just watching. I'm just watching 32 and 7 every game.
yeah,
So that's what you have right here. So I think he doesn't care if he's in the top 15 because at the end of the day, you can pull out stats,
hmm,
right? And then you can pull out accolades. Like he's in the finals. I don't care who says anything about, me. If they think I'm not in the top 15, I can tell you that the Heat have a great chance of going to the championship right now because of
Mm-hmm.
him.
yeah, and it's a tremendous. I mean, it's a tremendous accomplishment. Even in
Mm-hmm.
this situation is unique. We've never seen anything like it, but they are persevering and moving on. And that was
Mm-hmm.
a guy that Philadelphia wanted to keep. Jimmy Butler, I think, wanted to get out if Brown was still going to be the coach. And in this situation, it worked out. We'll see how it goes long term, but he's reached the conference finals. That's all. That's all that matters.
All
Yeah, that's
that's
all
all
that
that
matters.
matters.
That,
Last I checked, right?
yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Now we talk about.
We got some shout
Oh,
outs.
shout him out! Shout him out!
Shout
We
him
got
out.
Mr. Thomas Bird.
Oh, thank you for
We got
joining us.
Casey Johnson, West Virginia State teammate. Little story about Casey Johnson. He has a man child that plays for Georgia Tech,
Mm,
true freshman. So look out for him today. Georgia Tech plays Florida State.
okay.
Number 91, Emmanuel Johnson. Baby beast, just like his dad. Jason Reeves down in the A, man. Jason is doing some great things down there with his wife and his mother-in-law, man. She actually has a cooking show going on right now on Instagram.
Mm,
And I watch some beautiful, I'm talking about some artistic fried chicken last week.
mm.
And I watched them prepare crabs this morning. Great show. Y'all need to tune into that. Miss Kelly Bain down in sunny Tampa, Florida.
Mm.
Miss Julia Gifford, Holly Rosendale, Mo Whitfield. What's up, brother?
Mm.
Teammate, national championship team. 30 and 0, brother. Love you. Mr. Daryl Nelson, Michael Iron Mike Starks, Rob Bettine, high school rival, and the birthday girl is joined us, Miss Relena Nutchy Jennings. Happy birthday.
Happy
Thanks for
birthday!
joining,
Happy
y'all.
birthday to wifey. She's 25 today. There you go. 25th anniversary of Path. I'm not going to say. You don't do that. But let's talk about these Boston Celtics. This Boston Celtics have reached the conference final. They won a game 7 last night against the Toronto Raptors, another team that kind of played its way in. They lost Kawhi, but they made a stance trying to say, hey, it just wasn't all about Kawhi Leonard last year. We're a pretty good team, and we had some moments here. Siaka played tough for them, and Van Fleet played tough for them. Pushed to game 7, but the Celtics prevailed and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals championships to play against the the aforementioned Miami Heat. And I think it was just Tatum's coming out party. We said this will give an opportunity for a lot of guys to play, grab some confidence, not a lot of home and home stuff, and just go out there and ball. And I think we've seen the rise of Jason Tatum as we saw as a young player, and he's just coming on now that he is the man for that team. And they have a good team, real good coach in the Celtics in a tough battle, but they pulled it out and they gained a lot. I think they're going to gain a lot of confidence from that. I mean, I think series like that, defending champions, defending world champions, even though they don't have Kawhi, not really the same team, but that just builds confidence in the future moving forward. How do you feel about that, Duke? Do you agree with that?
With the
The
surgeons of Boston.
Boston and this building confidence for them, winning a game 7. You know,
Well, this is what it's about. This is all what it's about. You Kyrie, before everybody was looking like, okay, you bring Kyrie in. Kyrie was a ball dominated guard, right? He gave us a heck of a show. Um, But he wanted to go his own way, which is not a problem. But you bring a guy like Kemba Walker in, right? Um, he's more likely. He's not very ball dominant, but he is definitely a offensive factor. Like he is a guy that you just can't just let him do what he wants to do because he'll drop 30 on you. But that's not his game first and foremost.
Mm.
He is a willing passer. So let's look at the players that's on Boston, right? You have Tatum, who is a stud, right?
Yep.
Jaylen Brown. Um, you got Marcus Smart. All right, these guys need the ball.
Hmm.
And who better to distribute the ball than Kimba Walker, right? Because they haven't even tapped into, like, Jason Tatum is still trying to figure things out right now. And I don't know if he's able to figure those things out with a guard like Kyrie.
Mm.
Now, that doesn't say that Kyrie's a bad player because we all know that he's a hell of a talent, right?
Mm.
But in terms of growth, Kimba Walker is a better guard to play with. Now, with that being said, as Kimba Walker goes, as Tatum goes, as Brown goes, I mean, they are a machine right now, and you have your hands full with trying to defend these guys, right, on offense. But also they play defense, which we don't see a lot in today's game. Today's games a lot of time is one-sided. But I think Boston is where they want to be. And remember, Hayward is out, right? So that's another piece that's out there. But all you did was see guys like Jaylen Brown and Tatum get better along this process. Because offensively, Tatum is probably one of the most gifted players, in the NBA.
Yeah, and it's
So
only getting
that's
better.
that's
Yeah.
the kind of machine that Boston has going right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up, in the championship. But I got to tell you this: there's something about the Heat that I really
Yeah.
love, man. There's something about them.
Yeah. They just on a vibe right now.
Yes,
They just really have a. Sometimes you just get on a run.
yes,
Like the Mavericks team, that Dallas Mavericks team that year. They had a
yes,
lot of veteran players. They got on a run. Things fell, and they were just clicking. This season, we were just clicking, and we just going to move forward and make plays and play with one another. A lot of guys who wanted to win, unselfishness, real solid team ball,
yes.
and that's what you see from them too. And the Celtics too, with once Kyrie was gone, they were back to what they were, was playing team ball. You
Right.
know,
And
this is every
let's not forget that they have a great coach also.
yeah, Brad Stevenson,
They
yeah.
have a great coach.
So that really helps out. Jonathan,
Yes.
what's your take on the Celtics?
Oh man, Celtics are balling, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, and shout out to Toronto. They played their heart out. To be down there.
Which we
The Blues
expected.
are
We
superstar.
expected them to play hard.
They didn't give up. Not at all. They played their heart out. They pushed it to a game 7, and it was close. It was close all the way down. And they they did enough to me. They did more than enough.
They
They
left
did
it out
almost
on the
what we
floor.
expected them to do last year with Kawhi. Like they got to a point that we didn't think Kawhi was, championship. We just didn't think that from the jump, especially with all those teams last year, with the Sixers being where they were at last year, with Boston being where they were at. With the Greek, we didn't see Kawhi championship. Well, I didn't. I'll say that. So with that being said, they did a lot. They don't need to be upset at themselves about any of their play. And but Boston is just they have a lot of weapons. They have like you said earlier, Jalen Brown can become the best player on the court at any moment.
Mm.
Um, Marcus Smart went from a defender to a 3-point shooter, 3-point dart. Like that rarely happens. You go from a lights out defender. You still keep your defensive level, but now you're knocking down threes like you're a 3-point shooter your whole life. And that wasn't the case when he came out. He was just a defender. So I was real shocked at that. How he shoots that ball now. I don't know if it's a bubble shooting or not, but he's shooting it. You know that.
Mm.
It's going in,
But
right?
yeah, it's going in. Hey, and and back to Kimba, like a lot of people, it's like a little hard when you talk about that Kimba and Kyrie thing because to me, Kyrie is definitely an awesome talent, but Kimba's not nowhere near behind him as I hear people say. Like like you must didn't watch Kimba. Like a lot of people, I don't think watch Kimba
Mm.
because where he was at or whatever, but that guy can just put buckets up.
Yeah, he's a
If
bucket
he
getter.
at will, he can put buckets up at will. And I watched him do it. For a long time over there with no help. I think he had the guy Kid Kildress like was his only help over there.
Yeah.
So I watched him. Win a lot of games just on his own, pretty much. So it was definitely good that he brought in also to other superstars being able to pass the ball around. Because he was also a guard that was had to score. If he didn't score 35, they didn't win.
Yeah.
At least 25. If he didn't score
Right.
25 a night, there's no way his team won before he got where he's at. Now he can score 17 and they still can blow someone out. So that's definitely a adjustment that he really had to take and make, and that was awesome on him to be go from the number one player your whole career from college all
Mm.
the way to the number two, number three player most of the time because Jalen Brown is playing is playing at a higher level. So
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
that's
And I think that's one of the things is just these guys have played together for a while. They're true teammates, and you're seeing in this bubble situation, team ball has gotten some guys that have bonded, some guys that are playing for each other. The Celtics already had that. Jimmy Butler comes down to Miami, brings a chip on his shoulder. There's a chip on their shoulder. They had that, and they're moving on. So it's in this situation. I think a lot. It's going to come down to teams and how they handle situations. And talking about
and that's another thing, like you were saying with this bubble. I think it comes this bubble comes down to a lot of friendship.
yeah,
Like so, if you have real basketball chemistry with your guys, y'all all around each other more than y'all ever been right now.
Yeah.
Y'all
yeah,
not y'all barely seeing y'all just start seeing y'all family. But
Right.
y'all been around each other more than ever. So I think that chemistry level is so much important. If you don't
mm,
have that chemistry, if it's a Shaq and Kobe and they really don't get along like that, I don't think that it's going to help them in this bubble. I think it's going to hurt them tremendously, than help them. Whereas though these teams that we see, like the Miami Heat, we think the Miami Heat have good chemistry together. We think the same thing about Toronto. That's why they was able to force the game seven. We
yeah,
think that they have chemistry together. They all got together and said, Kawhi, who we can do this without Kawhi.
mm,
So we think they rallied together and became a family. We think the same thing about Boston. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. How tight are you? How tight are y'all? We see. Are we going to talk about Denver, the Nuggets?
yeah. We're gonna get to. I got the Lakers and the Rockets on right now.
All
I
right, so
wanted
let's
to
talk
move
about the
it.
Nuggets then.
Yeah,
Uh,
we gonna go Lakers on, and then we'll get to the Nuggets after that. Interesting series. Lakers lost the first and have come back and won three in a row, getting back to playing the big ball and everything down low, which they should have been doing. It's been some very entertaining games going back and forth. But I think the big story in this series is the two stars that reunited. You know, they came back, Harden and Westbrook, and even though this is a unique situation, I don't know how long this Houston's going to go with the small ball or what they're going to play, or they're going to try to bring in a different coach or whatever. Um, what do you guys think about their legacy? And is it hard to judge because this situation is so unique? Do you just throw this year out? But what do you think about Harden and Westbrook? And Westbrook has struggled, and Harden has struggled. You know,
yeah, me personally, I think that best. It's the best if it makes any sense. It's the best. It's the best position that Harden and Westbrook can be in.
yeah,
As far as offensively, what they're able to do, how many shots they're able to get up, the speed, the pace they're able to play at. It suits them so well. It suits Westbrook so well. Westbrook is going to grab 10 rebounds a game. He's going to take rebounds from everybody. So that him playing small ball, he's going to take the rebounds from the center anyway. So I think on the offensive standpoint, they're put in the best position for them to be as great as they can be offensively.
Yeah.
Now, now Westbrook has his shooting has been lacking so bad these last maybe 2 3 years almost. Like when he first came out, he could shoot that 15-footer pretty good. I
Hmm.
watched him shoot it
Off
against
the
us a
drive and
lot
pull up. Yeah.
off the drive and get you on your back heel because you couldn't guard him. He was too fast, so you had to play back on him. And when you play back, he just rose up.
Right.
I watched him hit that so many times against us, in the playoffs. And for some reason, it's just not there no more. I don't know how did his shot just go away that bad? But and then James Harden, I mean, over time it's just going to be too much on him. Like it's just too much on their motor. Like you got them guarding guys that's 5 inches taller than them, and they got to run and bang, and
Yeah.
it's just going to be too much on them over time.
It takes a
You know,
lot out of them.
I think what we're coming to. I mean, I agree with Jonathan said about it's the perfect situation for both of them because they're high volume guys, and a D'Antoni offense is perfect for guys who are high volume guys. With that being said, I think that we are looking at Westbrook's decline. Um, and for the simple fact that Father Time will remain undefeated.
Undefeated. A lot of
He's
miles on him. He's played hard, triple doubles, playing all those
double
games. Yeah.
plays hard. He's the one guy that you could guarantee for him to be playing in a game.
Mm-hmm.
He was just built like that, very durable. And I think over time, I think that's what happens. I think the shot falls a little bit short, the knees feel a little bit sore, and that's what happens when Father Time gets a hold of you. As far as their style of play, I think they have to figure out. Well, Westbrook too. I think he has to figure out. Um, how else can he be effective? Because
Yeah.
you're not going to remain as fast every year. You're just not. So for him, I don't know if he knows how to play another way, and he might be just stuck the way he is. Who knows? Myself, I would have got a passing point guard who likes to distribute, and I would have rather have moved Westbrook over to the 2 guard just to take off some of the wear and tear because he's a guy that gets the ball. He's trying to attack, and sometimes that's not good to be in attack mode every single time.
Yeah.
It's called running the offense. Sometimes it's called disguising some things. And I
Pacing
don't know.
yourself.
I don't know if he's that type of guy.
But the thing about it, if they did that, then they would have to bench their to me their most efficient scorer, which is Eric Gordon. I think Eric Gordon is the most efficient scorer. Um, I got in a conversation earlier. It was like, well, they don't have a real 3-point shooter. I said, well, Eric Gordon is really a 3-point specialist. That's what he came out. That's what he was drafted. That's what he was in high school.
Yeah, he did some
college.
shots and threes. Yeah.
Who said that they didn't have a 3-point scorer? Who shoot?
Other than
That's
Harden.
all they do.
Yeah, they shoot threes.
Right. They shoot a lot of them.
A lot of
them
them.
from the corner.
Yeah.
They shoot a whole lot. Yeah. So I was telling him, I said, look, but Eric Gordon was supposed to be that coming out. And I don't know if he like to be more of a slasher for this team, but you see him throw that ball up there. He'll throw it up there a lot.
Oh, yeah. But, I think Houston. Go ahead.
Yeah, I follow Eric Gordon a lot. When he was coming out in high school, I followed that whole class. He was part of Tyreek and Evans and them class.
Mm-hmm.
But Houston. Look, man. Who is their down low presence? Do we even know?
They don't have one.
Exactly.
They
so
just,
the last time I checked, the only court that works on is in the park.
Yeah.
Let's get our 5 guards, and we don't need a big man. Let's run them.
Yeah.
The problem is where they get you at is when it's working for a little bit, and then you hit the button to compete with them. So now you put your small ball team in. That's the problem. You got to me, I would put Dwight in the game because Dwight will still. I wouldn't put McGee in the game because he's never been a down post. Somebody on the block to go and get the ball. I would put Dwight in the game and just throw it down low. Dwight knows how to seal the block off. He's gonna if he puts him in the game, he's going to get them everybody in foul trouble, and it's going to be easy buckets. But
Yeah.
they're so worried about on the defensive end what he's going to miss, what he's not going to be able to pick the three up. He's not.
Pick and roll.
You got to pick and roll. You got to punch through that. You can't buy into their game, and that's what I seen Boston do one time because Boston has a small ball team also. Right. So Boston didn't have a problem with doing it because they have Kimba, they have House, they have Tatum and Brown. So they have that small ball 4 or 5 players that they can run, but it didn't work because that's not what y'all do. Y'all don't run that like these guys run it every day. Yeah. So I think the worst thing you can do is try to go small and run with them. Like AD playing a center is not super small, but I really don't like when teams go small against them. I think that's when they get you.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. That's nothing more than that's their strength, right?
Right.
And if you decide that you want to play against a team's strength, then guess what's going to happen 9 times out of 10?
You're going to lose.
You're probably going to lose. But my thing with Houston is they I don't remember when just a jump shooting team just ever won, successfully when we talk championships. They might have got to playoffs, but for some odd reason, you live by the jumper, you die by the jumper.
Yeah, you have to have something in there.
Well, Golden State is a 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, and they have some of the best 3-point shooting.
They have, that is an anomaly. I think everybody can, and a lot of people try to get in the threes with Golden State, and then people backed off that and said, look, we just want to play our ball.
Go ahead if you want to.
Yeah. Shout out to Rondo. Point guards still matter in the playoffs. He played well down the stretch. Not a lot of talk about that for the Lakers. I got the Lakers, taking this series. And it'll be interesting to see what happens next year with Houston. Do they keep this philosophy or they try to move on from Dontario's 3-ball running? And the other series out there is the Clippers, who couldn't close out last night against the Denver Nuggets. Series is 3-2. It will resume Tuesday, I believe. I'm not sure what's the schedule, but it's 3-2 Clippers. They're up 3-1. The Nuggets staved off elimination. And one of the players we talked about, people coming out, is Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has really, is he taking a step forward, or is he using this ability to be in the bubble without the crowds, whatever, enhance his game? But his stock has really risen in this bubble pandemic postseason. Seventh pick overall in the draft, and it seems like he's really blossoming.
I don't think anybody's seen it coming.
No, I didn't.
I don't think anybody's seen it coming.
I thought, we all know about the Joker and everything like that, but it just seems like there's some teams that have some offensive components that can mix well with one another, and when they're hot. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Right. I don't think that we've seen 40-point back-to-back games, but we knew the guy can play.
Yeah.
And we knew he could put up 25 a night. We knew that coming into this. So if 40 was needed, 40 was needed. But that's another team that doesn't have that has locker room issues now because of Michael Porter. What he put out there, and to me, did you hear what he put out there soon?
No, what did he put out there?
He put out there, but he went to the media instead of going to the office. He said, we have a lot of other guys that can shoot the ball. It's the coaches thing who gets to take the shots, and we need to get more people that's involved because we have a lot of other players that can score. He said they didn't like the way he said it, especially I don't know if the media chopped it up, I don't know what, but that wasn't good for you to, go to the media about, period. I wouldn't have done that, but he's a guy that can come out and play. But I think that's gonna linger in that locker room a little too much. And I pretty much he's saying Murray and Joker gets the ball and everybody else has to sit around.
Millsap had a good game for them the other night, So I mean, and I think and he's young, and sometimes you just gotta that's the type of stuff that uh, should be kept indoors and behind
Right.
closed doors, and not go to the media or whatever, like what's going on, and making comments along those lines. It'll be interesting to see because they did keep the Clippers from closing them out, and they
They
were
did keep
down by,
hope alive.
and they were down by 16, and they kept hope alive and going to move on to another game six and see how that place goes. But I see a lot of young talent in the league moving forward, guys stepping up, getting their opportunity in the spotlight, and making plays. I mean,
Got it.
it's just so a difference because there's that crowd factor and that pressure factor isn't
Oh
there,
yeah.
and that's
I
what
don't see
how much we can
no,
extrapolate out of this.
right, and I don't see the Rockets keeping this team. If they lose tonight, I don't see them keeping it because you gotta put in perspective. They went so they're gonna lose 1-4. If they lose tonight, they lose 1-4 to the Lakers. They went to a game seven against an OKC team that has who?
Yeah,
Other than
they're young,
older
yeah,
Chris Paul. So you let this team take you to 7 games, and then coming off that, you get one win against a team who we think that you should have been competitive against. You
yeah.
know, the team that you should have beat in 5, maybe 6, took you 7. Team that you should have beat in 5 took you 7, and then a team that you should have took 7 beat you in 5. So I don't see how they don't keep. I don't see how this doesn't blow up. They barely got out of the first round. Then they get into the second round, and they lose 4 straight after they win. So I don't see how Rockets can keep this next year going.
Is it just Dan Antonio's style just won't get it done, and that's why people believe they're going to move on?
Mm-hmm.
I
I
think
don't
so.
see this small ball being to get it done. James Harden can show in his past that he burns out, and now you're making the you make him have to shoot 25, 30 times a game. Period. Every game, every
Yeah,
night.
I
and
always thought that you needed some horses down low
yeah,
for a lot of reasons, for
yeah.
rebounds, for
Stability.
block shots, for defense. Oh, that's me.
When you
When you
miss
don't have
when you miss
go
four
ahead, Lou.
threes in a row, you need somebody a nice you need a nice
Listen,
sky hook.
when was it ever cool for just somebody to just say, I'm freely gonna be able to go down the lane all the time?
Yeah,
When was that ever cool? So that's what you can do to Houston.
yeah, all day, all night, just drive, penetrate,
Drive, penetrate.
and then you can dish back off the penetration or go to the rim and play hard.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. The bubble bunch, it's been entertaining. I mean, I've
Yeah.
admit, it's been entertaining. The situation with the NBA, and they pulled this together. Major League Baseball is looking for their playoff bubble. They talk about that the union has to agree on it, but they're most likely going to do a postseason bubble situation too in Major League Baseball. So we're going to try to get these championships out. How people will view them, we'll have to see. But
Yeah.
the
Got some
big
more shout outs
oh,
soon.
shout them out.
We got Miss
Oh,
Regina Brussel, Miss Cicely Turpin. What's up, Turp?
what's
Charles
up?
Charles Smith, my roommate down at West Virginia State University,
Hey, Charles.
Hall of Fame middle linebacker.
Oh wow, middle linebacker. He likes it in there.
Oh yeah, look, I had to babysit him, man, all the time, make him go to bed so he can get up and perform on Saturday mornings. What's up, brother? Kachita Vargas, Jason Reeves, Cornell Pop McCoy, JJ Styling at the University of Arkansas. What's up? Championship coach Roger Lasath. What's up, coach? Jason
How
Reeves,
you, coach?
my cousin Rhonda Evans, and George Espinoza. What's up, brother? Long time no
Hey,
see.
hey,
Thanks for joining, ladies and gents.
thanks for joining. Oh, another thing. How we gonna speed past the homie on the Rockets inviting the girl to his room
A
and
house?
getting sent home?
Well, I was just,
We
everybody
speed
knows
past
about
that.
that. That's house's business.
Hey,
Some,
he made it public.
They saying things that happen in a bubble, stay in
he's
a
in a
bubble.
bubble. Well, I mean, it's called Temptations. I
Yeah,
mean,
we seen the young lady yesterday. We can understand. That's all we're
a,
gonna
a young
leave
man,
it at.
a young man with deep pockets and time on his hands.
Speaking of the
that story's been written a million times.
Yeah.
It'll get you in trouble.
Hey, uh,
Well, house is out the house.
a professional athlete once told me, he said, "Son, it's okay to lay down by yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay. Everything's okay."
They not trying to let you do that though. You know what I
Nah.
at
mean?
that age, it was hard to believe though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
But they not trying to hear that, and you're not trying to hear that. So
Not
that's
at
how you
all.
go. That's young. But let's talk about the National Football League. Here we are. The season started Thursday night. This is like the biggest question mark that I've seen in a long time. We really don't, with no preseason games, nothing going on like that. We really don't know. Like we really don't have anything really to gauge the season by. You know, starting out and how is this going to be effective? How are players going to respond from going to 0 to 100? You've been in practices. I think there have been some scrimmages, but you really haven't had the time to get acclimated to playing a couple series, playing a quarter, playing a half. And a lot of players sit out preseason, but you still the other players, your specialty teams, things along those lines, just trying to get that all together. This is a big question mark. Will this make people more likely to be injured? Starting out, without, gradually going into, game situations, because you're going 0 to 100. It's like preseason speed,
On
regular
them
season
hammies.
speed, and yeah, soft tissue injuries. What is your guys' expectation this first week? What do you guys? How do you gauge the NFL? And what's your expectation for this week? And who has the advantage? Teams that have been together with the same system, or teams that got new players that are kind of tweaking the system that you haven't seen anything of? What do you think, Duke?
I think these guys are gonna take a few games to get themselves right because I mean, listen, football is not like basketball, right?
Yeah,
You wear pads. I mean,
yeah,
the game is for you to be tackling and crashing into people and stuff. And
yeah,
if you don't get that, then you're gonna probably be a little bit rusty.
yeah.
So I'll give guys 3 games. I think the advantage goes to the teams that already have systems already together.
Mm,
Um, the the New Orleans Saints, something is already there.
yeah.
Something's already brewing there. You can say the Eagles, you can say Dallas.
Mm.
These teams have already had their quarterbacks, they had their running backs, and
Offensive line, they've been
I,
intact.
yeah, things have been in place. I think they will hit the ground running.
Mm.
I think the teams that grab new pieces, I think that they might struggle just a little. But with that being said, if you can catch the ball, you can catch the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for you to be dropping passes that you and I can catch.
Well, the first
But
game really didn't have a lot of penalties called. The Houston, Kansas City. Kansas City has a nice young running back that they featured. Put up 34 points. They look strong.
yeah,
Houston just looks like they paid the quarterback a lot of money, but they really don't have much around him. As
right,
far as something special. Um, Skilled position players that need to be double teamed to keep you up at night.
right,
Uh, so the Chiefs handled them. It's a replay of an outstanding game in the postseason where Houston had jumped up on them and the Chiefs came all the way back. But yeah, the situation is going to be interesting, and I agree, Duke. I think if you have a structure and facility together, but it's interesting because Dallas is a new head coach. So what has he tweaked? Has he tweaked anything? Have they? How do they get a feel for him? How no postseason games? How he prepped for a game? How? So you're going to go. You're starting out with the new coaches also, who they haven't had any trial runs. Like we're
right,
going right, no dress rehearsals. Like we're
right,
going right to Broadway
right.
opening night.
Jump right in the mix. Jump right in the mix. I think that what's going to help soon, like somebody like a team like Dallas, team like Tampa Bay with Brady coming in. I think immediately what has to happen is you have to automatically find out what the strengths are and what the weaknesses are.
Yeah,
You don't have enough time. It's not enough time to try to you didn't have training camp.
yeah,
Like you didn't put a full camp and preseason together. So I know for me it would be okay. What are my strengths? All right.
hmm
In a sense, like Brady, okay, you like to get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds.
yeah,
I'm not going to come in and automatically say, okay, let this guy have take 7 and 10 step drops right away.
mm,
Now, will we have that? Of course, but the strength is what it is with him.
yeah,
Drew Brees will continue to be Drew Brees
yeah,
because they already have things intact. But for the teams who don't, I look for them to be timing to be off just a little bit. You
yeah.
got Bridgewater down in Carolina.
Yeah.
People in new positions. So we'll see, man. We'll
New
see.
new
I know
coaches.
I'm ready.
Yeah, new coaches, new quarterbacks. Jonathan, what's your take?
Uh, I think it's gonna be like we said. I think it's gonna be a lot of like hamstrings and
Soft tissue injuries.
might be a, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of like things that you normally could walk off. Maybe like a roll, couple more roll ankles and things like that. A couple of people going to play in shape. That's gonna be they're gonna be out of shape. They're going to play in the getting in shape. Um, it's gonna be real interesting. I like a few teams that added some pieces that was on there just out, 2, 3 games out. They added some pieces. I like a few teams that did that and like how direction they're going. Arizona, who we play tomorrow for one, I like the moves they made. But yeah, I just think I pretty much agree with you guys, on how the players are not gonna be fully ready, not gonna they're going to need a few games, 3 maybe. They're going to pretty much need the preseason games. It's pretty much, at least two, because you figure in preseason, at least they play a quarter, maybe quarter and a half. So if they get to play 2 full games, by the third game, they should be almost there, if not there. And hopefully it don't cost some teams.
They're trying to get ready and losing players. But the other interesting aspect for the players that have opted out this season because of COVID-19, how do you not you try to maintain being in shape and you're taking a year off from football, but not overtraining? Like that's going to be an interesting thing too. How those players come back the following season? Have they lost something? Have they lost a step? I mean, players get injured, they tear ACLs and stuff and miss whole years of seasons, and they kind of slowly rehab themselves back. But these guys are fully healthy. So
Right.
when you're fully healthy, how do you gauge shutting it down? Because you don't a football NFL football season is play, recover, some lifting, some training, then back the next week. So you're in a situation where you could be possibly training all year round. How do you watch yourself not overtraining or doing those things as well? And I think it's going to be interesting because you got rookie head coaches, veteran head coaches. Carolina has a rookie head coach. Temple guy was down with. Then he went to
Which I
Baylor.
love. Which I
Yeah,
love. I love what he's doing. He's
yeah,
climbing the ladder, right?
yeah, climbing the ladder. So it'll be and he really hasn't been able to do a dress rehearsal moving forward. But it's interesting. It's a lot. It's added a lot of intrigue because of the unknown. Like there's a
Yep.
lot of like you don't. First week we'll get into matchups, but the Kansas City, Houston set it off. Kansas City look like they're ready to go. Big Red, they got a nice little running back there. But if you look at the schedule is interesting. Let's put this up here. There you go. You have one of the games that's very interesting that I want to see. It's a 425 game. It's Brady at Breeze.
Oh,
Uh, uh,
absolutely.
Tampa Bay at the Saints, which is very, very interesting because you got two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks going head to head. Brady going out in the Florida to retire like most people do, going down to Tampa Bay to play. It'll be real interesting to see because they're going to have Gronk there. A lot of talent around. They just picked up the running back that got cut by Jacksonville,
Fournette.
Fournette. So he's in the mix. That's one of the interesting games. And here's the thing about it: like you try to get a feel or a fix for it, but you haven't seen either team play, like the
Right.
Right.
preseason or whatever. Who's hot, who's not. Who's got a feel, and you really don't know how to take that game. It's like hard. How can you say who will be able to play or who's going to how they're looking? The injury reports or who struggled. You know what rookie that got drafted doesn't look like he's living up to expectations. You have a lot of things because you haven't played anything or any games live that
I
makes it.
know that one thing I know is that I'm extremely happy that the ball is going to get kicked off at 1 o'clock
Mm,
tomorrow.
yeah, it's gonna be
Let the chips fall where they may.
yeah, and I'm more TV will be ready. Jonathan will take care of that tonight. Um, yeah, we're seeing another game that interests me is the Dolphins at New England.
Yeah.
Ex-coach coming
Yeah.
back in the Bradyless New England Patriots.
All
Um,
eyes on Cam.
yeah, and Miami has made some moves. And can somebody's all right? Brady's gone. Can somebody say, okay, in the NFC AFC East, we're gonna make a run at this thing now? Um,
Yeah, that definitely can happen. But that's just real weird that week one they give you Brady Breeze. That's something like a week eight game.
well, they trying to
So
set it
now
off
I'm
first. You know what I mean? They trying to
Set
set it
it
off.
off. You gotta set it off.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a week eight Monday night game.
But you gotta say they probably put
Seven
these.
and one, 8-0,
Yeah.
going against each other. Like we normally don't see that as 0-0. I don't think that's ever like we never see them
And this is
those two
interesting
quarterbacks at that level.
because Brady being in the AFC East never played quarterbacks like this
Oh no.
in
Right.
division. in division, they just never did. So it's starting out. I don't know when they put the schedule together, but it's interesting because you really want to see that you know that matchup that
Mm-hmm.
early on. This is new.
Yeah.
Gotta get you. We gotta get you in.
Yeah, he's not playing a team where they don't have a quarterback that's on par or with him or can make plays or Hall of Fame. There's not you know except when the Patriots. I mean when the Colts were in their division before they realigned everything. He's not played regular season games in division against Hall of Fame quality quarterbacks at
I
all.
don't even think
That's
he's
what
played against a quarterback that was above
I was
500.
discussing. I was just discussing with a old college teammate of mine
Hmm.
just today, where um, the one thing he's gonna have to worry about is he's gonna have to worry about these edge rushers coming.
Mm,
Because Atlanta, they're coming. The edge is coming. Um, the Saints, they're coming off the edge.
yeah.
And one thing we do know that we've seen Brady, as great as he is, when you get close to him, he will turn into a dirt diver.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go down.
So we have seen him do that. So, but like I said, this is a conference that's much better than that AFC East. So they're going to be playing ball. That's for sure.
I mean, every conference is better than that AFC East. I mean,
I mean,
like,
well, wait. The NFC East had some bad
yeah, but I
dickhead.
think if y'all played them, y'all would win more games than them. That's what I mean. Even though y'all ain't been
Not
winning a
last
lot, but I
year.
think if y'all win
Last year.
against them,
Last
oh yeah,
year
because the Dolphins showed up.
they
Yeah,
beat
so
you.
maybe,
We
yeah, maybe they get y'all
yeah like
last year.
but yeah I thought it was sweet last year. I said we got the AFC East. Oh, that's 3 out of 4 wins, and
Yeah.
that gets you
Yeah.
to the playoffs. But nah, it
Who,
wasn't. The AFC
who,
East is like we not that sweet. You know. So yeah, that was interesting, but a lot of that had to do with coaching too. But as you move forward, we take a look. The Cardinals at San Francisco, another East Coast 4 o'clock game. Opportunity for the Cardinals to come in and say, "Hey, we're making moves." San Fran, y'all had a run, but it's not going to be easy. We're going to hear that. That'll be an interesting game.
San Fran down a few receivers, down a few players still.
Yeah,
So that playing field is very equal.
well,
Debo's
these
out.
are the games that if you're a great team, you
You
sneak
get
out of.
out.
You know what I mean? You sneak. He's out of them.
Especially interdivision. Like if you're interdivision, you definitely
It's a
gotta.
home game, right? It's a home game for San Fran, right?
Yeah.
There is no home games.
Well, it's at
No
home, but there'll
bubble
be no
games.
fans. But it's just
Okay.
Well, the Chiefs had a few guys out there.
they had 15,000. They were pretty noisy. That stadium's acoustics are set for noise. That's why it's one of the noisiest places, the venue to
Hey,
play.
something about the dirt on my home field. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, you got home field advantage. You don't have a home field crowd,
Yeah.
but you have home field
Right.
advantage. Not the whole thing, but
Yeah. And I think that played a lot. Do we think that hurt the Sixers or helped them?
but
The it not being any home court advantage. So
you
you
talking
think
about the
that helped them
Sixers?
or hurt them?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, as far as the playoff,
Oh
as
well, the
far as
Sixers
their
were
shooting
29
playoff
and
ball.
2 at home. They were
yeah.
29 and 2 at home, so they definitely was a home team playing, yelling and screaming. But hey, you got to win
But
some road
but
games
but
too.
they right. But I'm saying, did the bubble hurt them or help them? How you think? Because there's no away games either, so you don't
Yeah.
have the away challenges either.
Yeah.
So you don't have the home profit part, but you don't have the away no away challenges
It
that
was
you normally
interesting.
would have either.
I thought the Celtics with Brad Stevenson recently so close to college, and college playoff games are at neutral sites. And when you're in the NCAA tournament, so
Mm-hmm.
preparing a team to play at a neutral site, he had a lot of insight in that recently, like recent history. Like he wasn't a college coach 20 years ago. He was like 8, 9, 10
Mm-hmm.
years ago. So interesting. Preparing at a neutral site, preparing it is different. And I think it was a wash because you weren't away and you weren't home. You're much better at home, but you also didn't have to worry about the way. Once you got acclimated to a court, everything was the same. Playing in the environment.
And you can't deny that 29 and 2.
Yeah, that
That's a
that
little impressive right there.
at home definitely. And you have going back, you have Green Bay at Minnesota, and can the Vikings? What are they going to do? Because they have Kurt, and Kurt's making cheddar, and they're going to move. And then you look at Chicago, who has Fultz as their starting quarterback now. He will be
They
starting.
started.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
starting.
does he start now?
He's starting
Oh,
now.
Okay.
Foles.
yeah,
Foles.
I
Yeah.
thought that they were rolling with Trubisky.
Not
yeah. When I
Foles.
seen something, he was Foles was on the bench when I seen something, but
Right.
that's
But from my
I
word, I
think they
heard that
should.
Foles is one the starting job. But maybe
Okay.
I'm wrong. But
Well, so
I mean, he should have won it.
get
I
the
don't think
news right from the
Trubisky is.
stadium, Sunni. So we might have to roll what you got.
yeah.
Yeah, I know Trubisky is not what they thought at all. I mean, and like the same thing with the Nick Foles and Trubisky is like not Nick Foles. Trubisky is like the Tatum and you guys
Marco Fultz.
pick.
Fultz.
Yeah, that's what it is. When you look over and you see what's going on with the two quarterbacks, that they could have had, and then you see what they're doing,
And you
two
and,
quarterbacks
and
they
you traded
passed up on.
and you traded up. You like
And
you
you
traded up. Yeah.
Hey,
Let's not forget
the
that.
GM doesn't want to hear about any of the success that the guys before him.
Oh man,
that
he got
But that's the interesting
yeah.
piece. I mean, that's going to be one of the things that's talked about for a long time is that move with Trubisky. And sometimes you just gotta, hey, look, he's not what we thought he was. I'm going to go with Foles because I got to try to keep food on my table. I want to win. You know what I mean? I'm not married to the GM. Look, we had a competition. Foles is the man, and that's it. Cousin Demetrius chimed in. He said the Bucks are trying to buy a championship, and that doesn't work in football. Do you think they're trying to buy a championship? Trying to put
Yeah, they
together
are
all.
loaded up. It does work in football. The Niners and Cowboys did it back to back years. It does
Well, they got
work.
Dion. They had drafted them. Most players were drafted. The Niners really did it. Like the Niners really went and got all kind of players for free agency
Oh, we
for that
both
one
under the
year.
cap. We both were under the cap. We
1
both
year.
were over the cap those years.
1 year.
We both killed the luxury tax, the cap run
Well,
those years.
But Dallas had more players on the team that were drafted. They just went and got
Well,
Dion.
you got them through draft, but you kept them that you wasn't supposed to keep.
And
they weren't. You didn't have a way of paying them, but you still paid them.
oh, like Dion used to get them envelopes under the table in the bathroom from the
Yeah,
DeBartolo family. From the DeBartolo family, somebody did get indicted. I'm just gonna leave that out there. But
So,
but definitely.
so Casey, it works.
I don't know.
It
So
didn't work
did
with the
Tampa Bay?
Eagles. It
Did
didn't
they?
work with the Eagles with the Dream Team.
Who
It
did
didn't work with the Dream Team.
who did Tampa Bay buy though?
I
Like
know they
because
just they
they
picked
needed a
up free.
quarterback,
They
so
needed a quarterback. Yeah,
they had
They
to
got
get
the
creative.
quarterback.
they
They
got
got the
Gronk.
running back.
They
They
got
got Gronk.
Gronk.
They traded for Gronk.
Did they trade? Yeah, they traded for Gronk. But
Traded for
I guess
Gronk.
he's trying to be more say loaded up with an all star team. Like we're loading up. What you have to if you go get Brady. Once you make the decision to get Brady, he's not a
You gotta get
5 year
his
plan.
pieces.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah,
go get
You gotta
everybody.
win
Yeah,
now.
you got to go get everybody right now. That's going to help you win.
yeah. You gotta get now. Gotta get now.
Yeah.
Got some
Man.
more shout outs.
Did-
Huh?
Oh, shout him out.
We got Miss Tiffany Walker, West Virginia State University.
Mm.
Why my hey now? How about that name? Hello.
Hey
Miss
now.
Munera Higgs, happy birthday. Community activist. Hello, how are you? Jules Cusack. My little cousin, Chris Evans,
Oh, hey
championship
Chris.
guard, Newman Goretti,
Newman Goretti.
one,
Okay.
of the, one of the area's, tri-state area's best shooters.
Okay.
Shelley Blackstone, Bettina Fisher, Mr. Jamar Brown, Boogie Brown, what's up? Katrina Squire, and Mr. Luke Ivy, Eagle Fanatic.
Oh, he loves the
Thanks for
Eagles.
joining, ladies and gents.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Definitely Sports Talk Live for the culture as we get together and we're discussing the National Football League. One of the interesting things that happened with the National Football League, the Chiefs in Houston came out not kneeling, arms locked in a sign of unity, social injustice, and were booed,
Hmm.
um, which caused some reaction from people. Ryan Clark was saying if you link up for breast cancer, if you link up for autism, everybody cheers. You link up to stop racism, people booed. Did y'all see that? How do y'all feel about that? What was your take on that?
Yeah, it was that was a terrible, terrible thing. You don't want them. You don't want people to start shooting people. You don't want people to start hurting people. You don't want nobody to take a knee. What do you like? What do you want them to do? Just act like it doesn't exist. That's almost like what you're saying. Just act like it doesn't exist. It's not a place for football. Well, the national anthem wasn't always a place for football.
Mm-hmm.
When did that become football?
And breast
So
cancer awareness,
yeah,
autism.
right. But that all those things are fine. And all all in all, I just think that it's a shame. It's like you want people to act like this doesn't exist, but you want this to exist. And, and some people will never change. It is who they are. They poison it in their kids now, and it's just trickle down effect. A lot of people don't even understand why they're racist. They just are. Can't explain it. Just nothing ever happened to them. A black guy never done anything wrong to him. A black guy held the door open for him every other day. A black guy told him he dropped his wallet on the ground. He just doesn't know why he's racist. And that's the sad part. It's not like I can understand if something happened to you in your life. Something happened to me in my life. I couldn't like black people. I'm not like white people, Chinese people. But a lot of these people, nothing has happened to them. They never even been around around black people enough for something to happen to them. And that's just the bad part about it.
I mean, my take on it is, I'm watching it and I'm seeing, African Americans and I'm seeing white guys and everybody's coaches and players and, trainers and everybody's, interlocked with arms. I'm thinking it's a proud moment and here we go. I'm like, I thought that was the time to clap and be happy. But
Mm.
once again, um, what do you do? Like what do you do? It's just like whatever you do, you came in peace from the beginning.
Yeah.
Kneeled, um, that was a problem. Then you stayed in the locker room, that was a problem. Now you're um, interlocking arms in unity, and that's a problem. So hey, listen, what we are finding out is there's nothing that you can do. There are going to be people that are going to be racist regardless. So my thing is you can't worry about them moving forward. They're going to be there,
Yeah.
and
Right.
you can't do anything to change their mind. If they're racist, they have to want to change their attitude and their mindset themselves. So wash them and keep it pushing.
Yeah, just keep moving forward. I was like, the situation, and I had a real good conversation at my job with a vendor. He was Italian guy, South Philly. We sat down and just really just talked, had a real good conversation about race, things he didn't understand. He was asking me, and I was explaining everything like that. Just a good convo.
Right.
Just on the topic,
And,
and not an honest conversation too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
right.
going back
Well,
and
I think
forth.
that's what has to happen now. I think that
Yeah,
has to happen. You have people that have grown up in whatever community, whether there's an
yeah,
African American community, whether there's Hispanic community, whether it's in the white community. They have never had experiences with any other ethnic group.
mm,
So now is the time to start discussing those things. And
yeah,
it's okay. It's
yeah,
okay to look to ask somebody a question. You're
yeah.
you're 50 years old and you have never an African American male has never stepped inside of your house.
Mm,
So it probably would be okay to ask some questions, and vice versa for an African American. A white person probably never stepped in the foot of your house.
mm.
It's okay to have some type of dialogue. It's perfectly fine as long as you're coming,
From a
with
point of learning,
from
and
a point of learning and not ignorance.
yeah, and that's and that was
That
the
would change the
situation.
game. That
Yeah,
change the whole game if you're coming from an ignorant point, standpoint.
in perspective, and have just honest conversations. Just what I feel. I don't represent all of Black America, like you don't represent all of white America, but this is my feel, and this is how I feel about
Right.
situations, and this is
Right.
what I perceive it as, and this is why you may perceive it that way, and this is why I may and some other African Americans that feel along my lines, and that's the way you open up doors. And I thought it was good for everything that's been going on, everything that has transpired, what side you're on. We said, hey, we're going to come together, team, link, unity across the spectrum, arm in arm, and we want to stand out against social injustice. But at the same time, some people just don't want to have that conversation for about that topic. It just rubs them the wrong way, and they don't
Yeah.
want to even talk about the situation at all, which is
Put their
just,
head back under the pillow and act like it doesn't
and
exist.
it's never, you're never going to get improvement, and you're never going to get a chance to make things better moving forward. So, what are your plans for Sunday, Duke? What do you got on the menu, on the shelf? What's going on tomorrow? It's opening
It,
day. It's like you said, it's
listen,
your birthday. It's Christmas.
you've witnessed over here where what we do um, with the football club.
Yeah,
That has to happen. It has to
yeah.
go down.
Okay.
So as always, we'll be getting together,
Mm.
and there will be food, there
Oh.
will be noise, and there'll be booze.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
that's how it goes. It feels like a celebration more than anything with the guys. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a great time as usual, man. The
Yeah.
grill's going to be gone. It's a continuation of the summer. You'll be smelling some barbecue. We'll have a blast, man. A lot of hugs and love, man.
Definitely. Jonathan will be down. We'll go do a dry run with more TV and make sure I'm ready to go game wise. My
Have
channels.
to. You
Uh,
have to.
uh,
You don't want a Sunday to turn
I
into a
don't know. We
Saturday.
might have to go through the drive-through virtual because I don't know if I'm going to go to Lit today or tomorrow. So
okay.
I got to get their
Oh,
system
okay,
up
yeah.
also.
What
Okay.
time do you think you'll be doing that, Jonathan?
I don't know. I might go and watch the first games. I might go
Oh,
tonight, just get it out
tomorrow.
the way.
Tomorrow.
I don't know. I might go tonight and not go tomorrow.
If you
I'm not.
do, if you do, I might be in a theater near you.
Yeah, I got to get my
uh,
wings. I'll probably go up the street for the wing. I got some chicken I can make. Maybe do a few burgers. Got to talk to my man Mike, see if he's coming down. See what's up with Big Doug. Doug, you out there? He'll be back soon. Um,
yeah.
Hey man, you can't be
Dougie
Nate was
Fresh.
supposed to get on. Nate almost had his first weekend off, but they didn't let him off. So he said hopefully next weekend started a new job. That's why he hasn't been able to get on. He said next weekend, hopefully, he's going to get on, get back on.
Okay, yeah, definitely Nate. Nate G for everybody. He's a
Can't be
Broncos
feeding stray
fan,
cats, Sunni. You
huh?
can't be feeding. You can't be feeding stray cats those wings, those Mexican
Oh
wings.
yeah.
You can't do it. Ooh,
people
serious.
people will be back, and people will
Oh, absolutely.
be definitely knocking on your door about those wings. Definitely that sauce.
Mm-hmm.
That sauce is boss.
Oh,
It's nothing but love for that. Duke, you guys are New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night kicks off for you.
put the money on them.
Put the money on them.
Yeah, put the money on them.
Okay, put the money on them.
Uh,
That's right. You heard it here. Sports Talk Live. Take the Steelers. Minus the points, and they will cover.
Yeah, they'll cover.
Mr. Monday Night.
We've been waiting.
Definitely going to get that in for you guys. My bet this week is take the Colts at the Jaguars. They will. I don't like what's going on with the Jaguars. Watch, I'll be dead wrong. But I'll give you one pick. I give you one pick a week, baby.
Yeah, that's one of my shoe-ins soon, right there.
Yeah, so I'm on that. Definitely. Okay, let's talk Eagles at Redskins. Eagles banged up offensive line. Ron Rivera. The Redskins are starting pretty much a rookie quarterback. But the Eagles' offensive line is banged up. And the strength of Washington, along with this young stud they took in the draft, and their head coach is a defensive-minded, get-after type of guy. I got the Eagles winning. They should win and take care of them. But are you a little concerned with Carson Wentz and this line shake-up with the Redskins' defensive line? Should there be some concern in Eagles Nation?
gotta be concerned. The man is injury prone. The man's been injured back-to-back seasons. But I have no choice but to be concerned. At least put it in your mind.
Yep.
If you don't put it in your mind, you're wrong. If you don't think, but yeah, you gotta put it in perspective.
I don't think that the Eagles have a problem with Washington. Why? Because they're Washington. They're Redskins.
But is there a new? That's one of the things. A new coach coming in, and you don't know what they get. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron.
Riverboat Ron.
Coming into the situation.
Find a way, man. I think the Eagles find a way. I can see them anywhere between 7 to 10 points getting up out of there, 30 to 20, somewhere around there.
Oh, you think
27, 17.
Something like that. It'd be interesting to see if the young quarterback can put up 17 on the Eagles. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, definitely take the Colts over the Jaguars. But it is the wife's birthday. I gotta take her out to dinner, get her something to eat and treat her right. Blessed to have such a beautiful, beautiful wife and loving spirit, Relena Jennings. I put some stacks in her hand today too, but nobody knows about that. She probably won't mention that. But yeah.
Happy birthday, Relena.
Happy birthday, wife. Love you, fellas. We'll be back we'll be back next week to break down this NFL first week. Break out what's going on. We'll be able to talk about NBA conference finals. Definitely moving that, and we'll talk a little U.S. Open when we come back next week too, because that'll be settled up moving forward. But hey, man, you guys enjoy the rest of this Saturday,
man.
And be out there for the NFL and fans. Sports Talk Live for the culture is here. Pandemic or not, COVID precautions or not, we're zooming this thing, we're doing this thing, and we will see you next week. Sports Talk Live for the culture. Be safe. Have fun.
Love and hugs.
That's what we do out here. Big timing. Talk to you. Peace.